think to some degree it put an emphasis on the role of the congregational leadership, council, the importance of being on council, the importance of you representing the congregation. I think to some degree we sort of set that up with a little bit more maybe importance during this conversation, because it was, talk to council, hear the people in the this is what's going on, if you want to have some input, if you have concerns, you need to talk to the, we were trying to keep that conversation going. So I think to some degree we have, and it went well, that council then got trusted with really being representative of the congregation. And I think that in some ways, at least for me, that put that in place a little bit better or stronger for the future, so that we kind of all understand that that's how the communication flow goes, and that's where the decisions get made, and get with those folks. And we've also, I think, done a better job since then of making council members more visible. During regular stuff, here are the people that are working on this, stand up, talk to them if you need to. So that sort of set up, I think, a mechanism that's worked really well.
We tried as a committee to keep not only the council but the congregation up to date as to where we were and what we were doing. Who we met with the last week and who we're going to meet with in the coming weeks. And we had some kind of talk back opportunities for people to come and have conversation. In the newsletter we put out our information and said, get in touch with us if you have some questions about this. So we try to make that visible, our work visible.
We had this conversation too in a couple of the all-committee meetings as well, so that you had the leaders of those committees on a Tuesday night and got them up to speed and asked for open conversation. I even think we had some breakaway kind of workshop stuff during the all-committee meetings. So we were really hitting church leadership and people active in the committees, that kind of stuff, on a pretty regular basis.
And we were aware, one of the reasons we did it that way too, was we were aware that when you have open conversations and invite people to come, mostly what you get are people who are already there or who really are not there. You get the extremes on both sides. You don't get the middle folk who are still struggling. So when we did it with the leadership of the church at an all-committee meeting, then you had not everybody, but you had a lot of people there who then could engage the thought and the process of what you're going through and maybe say something. Maybe not, but at least know who they could talk to around the edges. Because that's one of the issues, I think, when you're doing this process. You have people who have strong opinions, and that's great. But you got to figure out how to get under that and get to the other folk who are just not going to maybe speak up, but they do have some opinions about this, or they have some questions, but they're embarrassed to ask them.